let's look at the subject of user interface. Hi, I'm Thain. Welcome to another SAP Code Talk, and I'm really pleased to cover in this Code Talk user interface. It's topic of the month this month, but I'm also extremely pleased to have a new SAP developer advocate colleague with me, Nico. Thank you for joining me.
Hi everyone. Hi Ian.
Before we get into the questions I have for you, do you want to sort of give people a brief introduction to who Nico is?
Yeah, sure. I'm Nico, part of the developer advocates. I cover the UI topics in the team, mostly UI5. And yeah, previously to joining the team, I actually studied psychology, which is sort of weird, but or at least not, very common for developers. But the way people see the screen and how things move on the screen and the user interface in general is not that far away from, thinking about how the mind itself works. So that's how I make sense of that transition, at least in my head. So yeah, that's how I came to the team, and I'm very pleased to be on this Code Talk here.
Excellent. Now you're saying that, I'm sort of thinking I'm going to have to think of anything I say because you may start analyzing me. But anyway, let's get on to the questions.
Don't worry. Forgot most of the things I learned in college.
I'm sure you can't say that. They're in the id somewhere. So you mentioned UI5, right? So one of the things that our viewers may have spotted is the advocates team has started or have over the last few months been putting together something called 2 Minutes Of series. And Nico, you cover 2 minutes of SAP UI5. So can you sort of explain to our viewers why you did that specifically with UI5 and maybe a little bit broader with regard to the advocates team?
Yeah, sure. So generally, the advocates, we sat down beginning of the year and we thought, okay, what do we want to do this year? And we thought that it would be a good idea to cover the basics, because in the past we've covered the hottest, the latest and greatest things that SAP has to offer, but we sometimes lacked with the fundamentals, and new developers, joining the ecosystem sometimes struggle to get started with things. So for UI5, I thought it would be a good idea to have a playlist, a video series covering UI5 in very short snippets, very short videos that are for beginners in UI5, but not beginners in coding overall. So they require some experience in something. Like if you don't know what a terminal is, that's probably not your playlist. But I think there's a large group of people that have experience in something, ABAP, some other UI technology. It could be anything, but I haven't worked with UI5, and I think for those people, we needed a resource, some piece of content, and then we came up with the 2 Minutes Off series to cover that.
Excellent. Well, I say, I think it's psychology. We can all remember plus or minus 6 items or numbers or whatever. So I'm sure small snippets of information go down really well.
Yeah, and that's how I work as well. Like I can't process 20-minute videos. I forget half of it. So I would much rather have like a 1 or 2 minute piece of information, process that, and maybe watch the next one the next day. That's how my mind works. So
excellent. We'll come back to the 2 minutes of in a second. So, okay, you're the developer advocate, really centric around SAP UI5. What is your favorite thing or things in the UI5 framework and UI5 itself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so to get quite technical now, I think my favorite thing about SAP UI5, or UI5 for that matter, Open UI5 as well, is data binding, because I don't really see that in other frameworks implemented that well, or also like used as much as in UI5, and it just takes so much work off the developer, and it's such a basic but powerful concept. plus generally how models work in UI5 and how flexible they are. You can use them for state management, for your data altogether, like for all those things. And they are everywhere. It's such a simple concept, but I don't really see that much in other frameworks, or even if you go vanilla JavaScript, you have to loop through data like a million times to get something done. But in UI5, you just put a model there, and all the magic is done behind the scenes. And I really enjoy that, and that takes a lot of work off the developer, and it also makes you not make those mistakes yourself. Like when you loop through things a million times, you will do mistakes. But with the models, I feel like a lot of stress and work is taken off your shoulders. So that's technically the thing I enjoy most about UI5, or the thing that whenever I use it, I'm like, oh, that's good. Thanks for that. But generally, I enjoy the whole ecosystem and how open source centric everything is, because obviously we have SAP UI5, but we also have Open UI5, and we're such a great community of people contributing, also with the easy UI5 generator, all the TypeScript developments recently. We just see so many people contributing, not only consuming the framework, but also giving back and making the product better. So that's what I really enjoy about UI5 overall.
You mentioned or alluded to sort of other people sort of contributing, giving back to the community. And this question is sort of slightly linked to it, is what's the current news and developments to look out for in the UI5 space?
Yeah, we obviously have a lot of great community members who actually came up or created new products, so to speak, inside the UI5 ecosystem. For example, the VDI5 testing framework is like the newest thing we have. It's the new end-to-end testing framework for UI5, and it tests an app basically just like a user would. Like you write your test, and then the framework will go and open the page, click on a button, navigate to a new page, and just make sure that all the buttons are in place, that the functionality works. And actually, the community came up with that, so that goes back to the community being one of my favorite things. So we have VDI5, obviously. Then we have the UI5Con coming up on July 7th and 8th. Unfortunately, all the on-site spots or on-site slots are taken, but everything will be live streamed. So definitely make sure to check that out. Then, as part of the UI5 Spotlight or UI Spotlight of the Month, we have a new code challenge covering UI5 and testing with VDI5, so the framework I just mentioned before. And yeah, obviously we have the 2 minutes videos that I would still consider relatively new. And if you haven't checked that out, definitely make sure to do so.
Yeah, I would actually go back to the the 2 minutes of videos, and as we said at the start of CodeTalk, you've put these into lovely little 2-minute bite sections. Me as a developer, or our viewers as developers, they want to get into these videos. What are the steps? Is it just the video, or do you link off to other content?
Yeah, so we have the videos. I think it's 10 now. And you could basically just start watching the first one and then take it from there. But every episode has its own little, folder in a GitHub repo with its code. So you can check out the code if you want. It's linked in each of the video's descriptions. And then we also have in the descriptions the UI5 walkthrough, which is like I don't know, it's like a tutorial, but it's also like a documentation. It's on the official UI5 documentation homepage. And that's like the foundation of the 2 minutes off video series as well, because I figured can't be a bad idea to look at the documentation once in a while. And also that's how I learned UI5. So I, went through that walkthrough, learned UI5 that way, and then use that walkthrough as foundation of the 2 minutes off series. So definitely make sure to check out that as well in the 2 minutes off descriptions.
Cool. So as we said, you are the advocacy team's UI5 person. You're appearing on the SAP Developer News Show most weeks, telling everybody where to look out for some cool stuff. You've got the coding challenge. I saw your blog come out. You mentioned your blog. What's for Nico and UI5 in the future?
Yeah, we actually have CodeJams coming up again. So we are lucky that we can do physical events this year again. And we have the first one on July 1st happening. The first one for UI5. There's been one for ABAP already. First one for UI5 is July 1st. I probably will link that in the description here too, so you can check it out. We will have one day in Waldorf, 6-hour long workshop where we code and just connect and yeah, talk about UI5, learn UI5. So that's a major thing, I guess, coming up. But of course, I will keep producing the 2 minutes off videos. We will have new code challenges. And of course, we will have blog posts covering little bits and pieces here and there. So yeah, make sure to follow the SAP Developers YouTube channel to not miss anything.
Excellent, excellent. Just a little word on the CodeJam. You know, guys, you know, so there'll be a blog, there'll be links if you are in the area, because it is a physical event. We're trying to get back to the physical event in a small managed way. And I'm assuming there'll be a few little prerequisites there, Nico, as well, that those who are lucky enough to be able to join will have to sort of bring their own machine along for one, I guess.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it will all be described in the links below, where we have the event listing where you can sign up. We have a prerequisites section, also like prerequisites in terms of where is it and like where do you have to go, but also technically like how your machine has to be set up, which is not a lot for UI5, luckily. So yeah.
Wow, a lot of information in our CodeTalk. I'm pleased to say that we actually finally got you on a CodeTalk. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for explaining everything. And I've got to say, good luck for CodeJam in 1st July.
Yes, that's right. Thanks a lot.
Perfect. Thanks, Nico. Thanks for joining us.